Hello. Today we will be discussing Lab 6, Nucleophilic Substitution. The purpose of this lab is to learn substitution reactions, and some topics and techniques discussed in this lab include reflux condensation and substitution reactions. Nucleophilic substitution reactions take place when a nucleophile forms a bond with a carbon atom, displacing the leaving group. There are two types of nucleophilic substitution reactions, SN1 and SN2. In an SN1 reaction, the leaving group, in this case bromine, leaves, leaving a planar carbocation intermediate. This can be attacked at either face by the nucleophile, meaning if the starting material was chiral, the end product will be a racemized mixture. SN1 reactions usually occur in polar protic solvents, and the reaction rate can be influenced with the stability of the carbocation intermediate, where tertiary carbocations will result in the fastest rates, and primary carbocations will result in the slowest or sometimes no reaction. For SN2 reactions, the leaving group, in this case bromine, and the nucleophile, a hydroxide anion, occur at the same time, meaning the nucleophile and the leaving group attacks and the leaving group leaves in a concerted manner, forming a 5-membered transition state. This results in the inversion of any original stereochemistry. In SN2 reactions, the leaving groups are typically weak Bronsted bases that are stable as anions, and the precise timing of when the leaving group leaves will depend on the structure of the substrate. This week, we will be converting 9-fluoronol to 9-methoxyfluorine with an acid catalyst. This will occur through the following mechanism. First, the alcohol functional group will be protonated from sulfuric acid, forming water, which is a very good leaving group. The water will then leave, forming a planar carbocation that can be attacked by the methanol. Once attacked, the methanol can then be deprotonated, forming the 9-methoxyfluoronol. Once attached, the methanol can then be deprotonated, forming the product. For this reaction, we will use reflux condensation, which is a common technique in organic chemistry that allows for a reaction to take place at elevated temperatures without loss of the solvent. As shown on the right, reflux condensers consist of an inner glass tube with an outer glass jacket that you can run cold water in and out of to reduce the amount of gas that escapes from the top. To begin, you will obtain a red organic glassware kit and set up the reflux apparatus similar to the figure on the right. Using a 10 milliliter round bottom flask and a water condenser, you will then add a spin bar and 100 milligrams of 9-fluoronol to the 10 milliliter round bottom flask and place this on a cork ring or on the aluminum bar for safe holding. You'll then place the apparatus on top of the hot plate with the aluminum heating block. Be careful, as all of the glassware must be dry before beginning, as water will drive the reaction backwards. You will then obtain 3 milliliters of methanol in a small test tube and 0.75 milliliters of sulfuric acid in another test tube. In the hood, slowly add 0.75 milliliters of concentrated sulfuric acid to the methanol with a Pasteur pipette. You will then transfer the sulfuric acid methanol mixture into the round bottom flask with a stir bar and reassemble your reflux apparatus. Start circulating the water in the water condenser. The water flow should be slow to steady stream and should enter from the bottom of the condenser as shown. Set the thermometer in the smallest hole of the aluminum block and preheat the block to 100 degrees Celsius. Once hot, place the reaction mixture on the block to heat while stirring. Heat the solution gently for 20 minutes, beginning from the time the reaction flask is put on the heat. Remove the reaction flask from heat and allow it to cool. Do not detach the flask from the condenser yet. Be very careful not to shake the flask when removing it, as this may cause it to start boiling violently. To isolate and characterize your compound, you will allow the flask to cool and prepare a TLC plate with a crude compound against the 9-fluoronyl starting product and a co-spot of both of them. So your TLC plate should have 3 lanes, one with the starting material, one with your crude compound, and the third with a co-spot, which consists of a mixture of the pure starting material and your crude compound. A co-spot can allow you to see small differences in compounds that are very similar. You'll then develop the TLC plate with dichloromethane as the developing solution. And we will not perform melting point, as this is a liquid phase product. You may spot the product directly from the round bottom solution. To clean up after the lab, the developing chamber waste will go into the organic waste. The product will also go into the organic waste. Carefully wash all glassware and dispose of any solid waste in the solid waste bin, such as TLC plates. And all acid waste will go into the aqueous waste. Thank you.